I couldn't see who, I think it was maybe Jeanette, that said that she came home with a sobering sense of responsibility. And that is such a beautiful thing to say, Jeanette, because the truth is, it is a sobering sense of responsibility when you realize what you have to offer people, what you have to give to people if they are accepting and they are looking, could literally change thousands of lives with that one touch. So look, I'm happy to take questions or talk about anything other specific that you had in mind, Debbie, but I just wanted to share a little bit about my gratitude for everyone on the call who was at convention, my appreciation for those who weren't at convention that are trying to get caught up. It's a lot of information. Just know this, in a couple of weeks here, about mid-October, these new blue bottles, your new business on a bottle is going to start showing up on your doorsteps in the United States and Canada. All other markets will have this bottle in the early first quarter of 2018. So the US and Canada have a big jump on the market. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but it just is what it is. Inventory is what it is. And we've got these new bottles that are going to be hitting your doorsteps in just a few weeks here. And you need to run, run, run. You need to run, run, run. Take that personal responsibility seriously and talk to people the way that the bottle is telling you to talk to people. So thanks, Debbie and David. I'm happy again to take questions or talk about anything specific. If you want to give a shout out for the regionals, if we've got another minute, is that okay?
Yeah. Karen, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I've got, first of all, I'm going to share a flyer real quick on the screen so people can get an idea. You're going to be in the Washington, D.C. area on the 28th of October. Here's the flyer. People, we're going to share this after you're gone. You're going to be in New York on the 14th of October. Things are happening before the big Vision events in January, right? So we don't have January for these events.
Absolutely. You know, this is a real full court press, as we'd like to say, to get as many people at these Envision events as possible. In fact, we have some pretty lofty goals as far as attendance at these events. We'd like to see at least 2,000 people within these 4 events in January, and coming out to Maryland and to New York, driving traffic, driving attention, driving excitement to the Maryland event in January is what it's all about. So we are really excited. I know that Ed Weens has got an event happening on the 14th as well in Pinehurst in North Carolina.
Yep.
And I know that Chuck and Tammy Gates are doing a 4-city tour throughout Montana in the middle of October. So really there's so much happening in the month of October as we get this new message out to as many people as possible to make the regional events just absolutely spectacular. So David, before I go into those regionals, did you have any other questions?
I just want to mention one thing to everybody that may have not met you, that when I first met Karen, it was, we're going to have a leadership dinner here the night before again on that Friday night.
Oh, good.
Before the event. And I met you at one of those. Very first time I was just joining, and I had been in network marketing, and you knew that I had some real problems because of where I was before financially. And you looked in my eye and you said, you give this 3 years part-time, and 3 years part-time. And you smiled and you said, because you've been in network marketing, you've been in a company that almost hit $1 billion a year, and said, this is going to dwarf that. You do it part-time for 3 years and you won't ever have to work anywhere else for the rest of your life. And I don't know if I ever talked to you about this, but that was like at the very, very end. I think it was October or November of 2011. I did this part-time, the end of 11, 12, 13, 14, and January 1st, I went full-time in this. It was 3 years to what you said. And you weren't hyping it. You smiled and you looked me in the eye and you felt my pain and you said, I'm telling you, this is the one. And we try to get that across to people. But it's open for anybody. I think you probably said the same thing to Debbie, and look where Debbie is too.
Well, I told her she was better looking than you, but other than
I tell her that too.
Yeah. Other than that, no, you know what, you guys, I appreciate David sharing that story. You know, it's interesting. I don't know, I've been involved with network marketing companies for a really long time. And one of the things that I love is getting to know people. And one of the things I think I'm gifted with is getting to know their soul very quickly. And I knew David at that dinner, and it was at Debbie's restaurant. We were at this really long table. I mean, I remember exactly where we were sitting. I remember exactly what was going on. And I remember Wendy being there. And I just knew what you were capable of. Mm-hmm. And I knew that if you put a plan in place that was realistic, that you would have the lifestyle that you only dreamed of, and that your family would be taken care of. And so I'm glad that you never gave up, because 3 years part-time can be a long time for somebody to try and be focused and committed and dedicated.
Mike, you met Max before when you were visiting here, and he came to the convention, and Max is fully engaged, our son. He's fully engaged in this, and it's such a thrill to be able to work with him now. And thank you for talking to me at the convention.
Oh, it was great. It was so fun. In fact, I'm a little remiss because at one point I really wanted to mention the generations that were at this convention that we've never seen before, right? So David Max was there with you, and I had a conversation with him about his interest. And Jackie was with Debbie, and she's already gone to Director 700 with her first event out there in Wyoming. And Alyssa Favreau with her mom, Denny. And there were
Alex and Nolan is on here, and
the Matthews,
Alex and Nolan is on here, and Danielle Matthews.
Danielle Matthews and her mom. Yep. It was just absolutely incredible. Donna Davis and her daughter Julianne. So Julianne Fike, that's not her married name anymore. But she had brought her daughter who's doing the business. And it was just so fascinating to see this generational impact now after this was our 8th convention, right? And we've been dragging our kids along to all these great events. We've been dragging our kids along to all these great rewards. They've kind of grown up, and really they see the lifestyle that their parents are creating, and they're saying, I want that.
Right.
I want that lifestyle, right? They're seeing the travel, they're seeing the trips, they're seeing the friendships. And I'm remiss that I didn't have the families kind of stand up. I mean, the Nolans, and there's so many. I could just go on and on and on forever, so I'll stop. But so exciting, right? So, history on all kinds of fronts. So.
Did you want to mention the Envision, what's going on with Envision?
Yeah. Let me just really quickly run through this. And look, we're going to have this information posted in probably the next week. We're not going to bombard you with another event until we kind of get our ducks in a row after convention this week. But if you've got a pen and paper, just jot this down really quickly. We're going to be in LA, California, in the Rosemead area on January 6th. And that is going to be me and Jerem Webb. And of course, a number of leaders, right? Jenny Robinson, Trish Schwinkler, Paul Tyra. And then we're going to be on January 13th, we're going to be in Dallas, Texas. And Tyler Norton is going to be with me at that event. And of course, great Texas leadership, Leland Duck, Terry Latham, Alan Noble, tons of other leaders that are going to be there. And then we're going to be in Washington State on January the 20th. And that's going to be me and Justin Wilson are going to be in Washington on the 20th. And then Maryland, we are going to be there on January 27th. And Chuck Funky is coming with me to Maryland. So super, super excited to have the CEO. Yeah, have our CEO there in Maryland. So look, there's going to be tons of leaders everywhere, right? David and Debbie and the Malmeds. Yvonne, we're all going to be there in Maryland. Now, these events, these Envision conferences are going to be absolutely incredible. We're going to have on-site product sales. We're going to have some on-site opportunities for Advancing Life donations with some really special, cool gifts that you can purchase specific to Asea. We're going to have giveaways. We're going to have tons of training, mindset, skill set, post-convention stuff, really dialing that in. So each event is going to be absolutely spectacular. The events are going to be posted again in probably the next 7 to 10 days. They'll be probably price ranged around the $25, $29 range. And you'll probably get a little special gift when you come and register and be with us for the day. Most of the events are going to be an all-day affair, right? Kind of a 9 to 5, 9 to 6 kind of a deal. So I'm really, really excited about getting the year kicked off, right? We're going to be talking about Ascent. We're going to be talking about Fast Forwards. We're going to be talking about the Diamond Summit, because Ireland, woo! Ireland lit everybody up. Oh my goodness. Ireland is on every single human being's bucket list, unless you live in Ireland, I guess. Because I have not had more people come up to me at an event saying, I'm going to be on that diamond trip because I've always wanted to go to Ireland. So anyways, there's the 4 Envision conferences, more to come.
All right, well, let us get Panama out of the way. We got in a month, we go to Panama and Colombia. Can we do that first? Then we can
do that first. Yeah. Right. We can do that first.
All right, Karen, you gave us, you said 15 minutes, you gave us 20. We really, really appreciate it. Marty Morin, Dr. Morin's going to go over the study results now with everybody and kind of translate it, right?
Yeah, I'm staying here.
Awesome. Karen, thanks so much. Really, really love you. Appreciate you being here. Everything.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. Hey, you guys, love you. Love to see everybody. Thanks for coming to convention. I'm going to stick around and listen to Dr. Mark.
Awesome.
All right, David, it's your turn to introduce, I guess.
Okay. Marty, are you on, first of all?
I'm here, David.
Okay, so let me introduce Dr. Morin. Thanks, Marty. Marty's dialing by phone because he was out doing a presentation in Dover, Delaware. He lives in Maryland. Marty has been a researcher his whole life, veterinarian research, quite the analyst, I would say. He and Kathy are just phenomenal people. You guys are silvers, right, Marty?
Bronze.
Bronze. Well, almost silver. But you guys were at the convention, and people kind of shared what they got at convention. If you want to take a minute beforehand to say what you shared before we get into the study results, feel free to. And I have the slides of the summary and the study, so you tell me which one you want me to pull up when you want it up, okay?
Okay. Well, I was just super impressed with all the investments the company has made this year. You know, the new building, the development to get ready for Asia, the back office. I mean, the company is investing in us, and that's super cool to watch. But you wanted to talk about the gene study, is that right?
Yeah, yep. And I haven't really talked about it at all. I mean, a little bit at the beginning, but the recording wasn't working for some reason. Now it's being recorded, so you can have at it.
Well, I think we start with any research project and we look at how it was designed. And I would agree with the analysis we heard on that little video that this is elegant research, like the studies that have been done from Dermatest or by Stevens or by Dr. Neiman. These studies are all well designed. So that's the first thing. The average age of the subjects was 35. Marty is 70, but the average age of the subjects in this study is 35. And that means this is going to work for basically all adults, right? Up to my age or middle age or 20-year-olds, it would all work. And maybe before we talk about why genes are being turned on in this study, we should wonder why they're off. They go off because we're getting older. They go off because we're under stress. Go off because of toxins in our environment and in our diet. There's all kinds of reasons why genes turn off, but they're not supposed to be off. They weren't off when we were young. And what we found with this study is that in all 25 subjects on Asea, well, let's start with the control. The control was our saline solution before it goes through our patented process. So salt water, saline, and it had zero benefit. So as I heard Dr. Silverman say earlier that so much for the saltwater charge, right? We can dispense with that.
Right.
Asea is no longer saltwater. And yet with the Asea, for the 25 subjects, they turned genes on over an 8-week period. Very significant, 20%, 30% kind of benefits. And after 8 weeks off the product, they were all back at the starting point for that individual. So all of them turned at least one gene on, and all of them went back to the starting position after 8 weeks. So what does that tell me? I'm really happy I'm on this product, switching genes into a better position. When the genes go on, they're in a better position, like the light switch. We're flipping a light switch, and the gene is active again, the way it's supposed to be. And if I go off the product at my 70 years old, that would be incredibly stupid. Please don't let me do that, David. If I went off the product, all my genes would just start, that I've bothered to switch on, would all just switch back off again, probably take a couple of months. So, and hopefully you showed the little graph with the line going up, and then the graph with the figure 4, I think, with the line going back down.
Yeah, I'm showing it right now, Marty, actually. Yep.
And then maybe switch to the circle with the 5 areas in it.
It's on there right now.
Okay, and I'm sorry I can't see this stuff, but what are these genes controlling? In part, they're controlling the immune system, making it more efficient, work better. The digestive system, including the ability to have certain enzymes operate properly. Cardiovascular benefits, including more elasticity in our arteries, the opposite being hardening of the arteries, right? We're not going to talk about that. But our study proved that the arteries can have increased elasticity. That's a good thing. Hormones are in better balance. And so part of that's thyroid, part of that's sex hormones. All of those things have to do with well-being. And then we say down regulation, a reduction in inflammation in the body. We had actually seen that earlier with the 106 people study that Dr. Neiman did, oxidative stress going down, inflammation going down. So I think if you looked at the whole wheel there, immunology, GI, cardio, hormones, and inflammation, you have just encapsulated essentially every chronic condition for humans and or animals. Does that help?
Pretty powerful. Absolutely. Marty, let's just see, because we're going to talk about the messaging. It's nice that there's, people want to throw studies at people, and we try to tell them, don't give people stuff they're not asking for. Most people don't care about studies. They just want to know if it's safe and will it help me with my problem. And if they're entrepreneurial, what's the background of the company? Is it patented? Things like that. But if there are a couple people that have questions, would you mind taking a couple minutes to answer?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, if anybody has a question for Dr. Morin, just click on the bottom left of your screen. There's a little microphone, left click it, it'll unmute, and just ask if we can hear you.
Hey, David.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think David Klein popped on first. Go ahead, David.
Hey, quick question. A lot of these pathways that are opening up affect many, many other conditions beyond these primary 5. Can you speak to that at all, Marty, or you even, David? I know that there's more to it than just our digestive health. What else does that affect? If we're encapsulating, like Marty said, pretty much every chronic condition that can affect a human being.
Yeah, I'll let Marty do that.
Well, I kind of agree with David. It almost doesn't matter.
Okay.
What matters is that what we have learned from looking at Asea, you go back to the athlete study, muscles and joints can operate better, the athletes are happy. They have better mental clarity. You go to the skin studies. The skin is behaving younger. The cellulite is being reduced. Blood flow is increasing. You do the whole thing together, the 106 overweight women where the oxidative stress was lowered. Both the ones they gave us were damaged DNA was lower, and the LDL, oxidized LDL, was lower. You put the whole package together, and what it's saying is wellness. And that's what you should say. This is about improving your wellness. Your cells can be more efficient. Your cells can communicate better. You can have a higher quality of life, live younger, longer. Now, you know, if somebody wants to go digging deep into every one of these pathways, send them the 8-pager. It's right there in your back office. Most people don't need it. As David says, Dr. Silverman says, is it safe and does it work? The answers to both are yes. It's safe and it does work, and we want you to give it a try. You know, if you're not ready for that, I have to move on. Karen's right. There's an urgency here.
Marty,
Okay.
let me ask you a question, Dr. Morin. They studied 5 genes and they proved that it turned on all 5. How many genes basically are in the body? How many thousands?
I don't even want to count.
Like several,
What,
right?
46 chromosomes, it's a lot, yeah.
So the bottom line is if they studied 5 genes and it turned them all on, then it just, those are ones that are mapped. We know the function. So, you know, if you're dealing with something, you know, with nerves or something that's not in these pathways, nerve problems or whatever, it's just they didn't study that gene. But if you hit 5 out of 5, it makes sense you're going to hit 10 out of 10. And since we see like nerve problems and other kind of problems get better, it's just the main thing about this is now there's not a person in the world, even with all the testing we've done that proved that it's not salt water, that could possibly say it's salt water. Because also the person that did this study, this group, is a very highly respected group of investigators. You were in research, right? They're pretty impeccable background.
That's right. These studies, whether it's the Neiman studies or this one or the 106 overweight women, the Stevens studies, the Dermatest studies, they're all elegant. They're all controlled. And somebody thought about this. You know, if you're concerned about it, go back to some of that stuff having to do with the athletes in the Neiman study. The researchers got such magnificent results, they didn't believe it. They had to go back and check their work to make sure they hadn't made a mistake. They had never seen a product that could deliver these kinds of benefits. And the other thing you might look at is something like the book that Narain Naidu wrote, Redox Life. He has the medicine chapter in there, section 4, chapter 4, that talks about oxidative stress. Oxidative stress, what is it? It's your redox molecules at a cellular level out of balance. You have a redox rebalancer in Asea, and the oxidative stress in the cells are going to go down. Look at that chapter in Redox Life, and you'll see a chronic condition for every system of the body, right? Breathing issues, COPD, pancreas, blood sugar, kidneys, blood pressure, Alzheimer's. They're all in there, all the systems, cancer. And what is it all? It's all oxidative stress. We lower oxidative stress. Folks, we're onto something that is so big, you'd have to be on the medical board to understand how big. David can't tell us.
I don't even know. I mean, all I know is this, I'm the kind of guy who, I'm a doctor, I had a lot of science, but I'm curious about the science. I'm just excited that it works and we're at the beginning. And the marketing part of me is like, hey, everybody we know is going to find out about it. I want them to find out about it through me. I want everybody to find out about it. I prefer that they found out about it through me or someone in my group, but I want everybody to know about it.
I have a question.
Yes.
I saw in the pathway, I'm not scientist, but I hear nonstop some other company mentioning NRF2, which I saw in the design of the different pathway. There is a company claiming producing NRF2, and also it's the big fashion of stem cell. What is the impact of our technology in relation to those people who claiming to have those products? I have an idea, but I would like for Dr. Morin or Dr. Silverman to tell us, or how to approach when people mention the future.
Well, I've watched people trying to fix the body with fetal tissue or with these stem cells. I'll tell you what, the only ones I would ever take would be my own, right, stem cells. And so, you know what, is there a place for Western medicine? Sure. Is it perfect? No. In fact, the further I get into wellness industry, which of course is only the last 4 years or so, thank you very much, John and Kathy Hayes, if you're on this call. But the more I learn about wellness, I understand how broken Western medicine is. And so if there is an option short of taking any product of the pharmaceutical nature, even stem cells, boy, I'll tell you what, I would be in the wellness. I'd go see Dr. King at the wellness center first. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, and Sylvie, also, Marty, that was a beautiful answer.
Yes.
And the other thing is there are a lot of products that do individual things out there. Some of them have toxicity. This has no toxicity, and it's one thing that does everything. As bold of a statement as that sounds, this is not nutrition. You need nutrition, but it's kind of like, aspirin is a pretty cool product in itself, because there are things that can lower, like acetaminophen can lower fever, right? And it can work for pain. Aspirin can do both, but it also works on inflammation. It also thins your blood if you have heart problems. So someone that has Tylenol could say this is the same thing, and it's really not the same thing. Number one, it's more toxic on the liver. But people always compare. I say, look, you know what? I don't care what pill you're taking. You taking vitamins? That's fine. Do you have anything in your body that hurts? Do you have pain anywhere in your body? Anywhere? Really? Let me ask you, if you rub that pill on there, would that make the pain go away? No? Well, why don't you try the Renew 28 Redox Gel and put it on 3 times in 5 minutes, and you tell me how you feel within 10 minutes, right? We're in a different stratosphere, a different level than anything else that's on the market. And some people, if they're real focused on what they're doing, you can't steer them away. You just can't. But I'll tell you, I went to a funeral today, and it was a friend of ours who's 49 years old, and she died of colon cancer. There were about 1,000 people at that funeral today. 1,000 people. Younger someone is, and she was very, very, very involved in all kinds of things. Just the sweetest person involved with helping other people. And she was diagnosed a little over 2 years ago, and had a surgery where they took almost everything out, and chemo. And I told them about this, and then it came back 3 months later, and she was able to go do a couple of trips with her family in pain all the time. And then she was on hospice, and she died. Her kids were standing there talking, and I was crying, and I thought, I didn't do enough. We can't convince everybody, but I should have sat down with them and said, damn it, you have to listen to me. But you have to take the time to look at this. I don't know if you may be just going down strictly the traditional path, but they knew what their odds were. For people we love, from now on, I'm never going to sit at a funeral and say I didn't do my best. I can't do that with everybody. I don't have time to do it with everybody. But the people that we care about, we really, I think, have to tell them this is something special. And they're going to find out about it later, and they're going to say, why didn't you make me look at this? And I had a kind of an epiphany today. It was a sad one, but we do have something that no one else has. I think there was one other person that had a question, a man, I think.
I had one too.
Yeah.
Dave.
Go ahead,
David?
Karen.
Whoops,
Karen.
my turn?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I'm just wondering, what do we tell someone who has a medical condition and they take the liquid product and they become well? And then they ask us, do they need to continue taking it? If they stop taking it, will they become ill again? Do they need to take it the rest of their lives? Or can they take it for a time and then stop?
Can you see the slide I have on here now?
Yep.
Okay. That's what's being on it for 8 weeks. You turn your genes on, you get off, you go back to where you were.
Okay, that's what I thought I saw, but I just wanted to clarify.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. You're not producing less than you were. Well, a little bit, because as you get older, you produce less, but that's the miracle of the product, and it's the miracle of the business. Because if people want to stay the way they are, this is not going to look. People are going to get sick and die drinking Asea. It isn't like you're Superman or Superwoman, Wonder Woman. You're not going to live forever. But that's the beautiful thing about the business part of it. It's the residual income part of it. Because if they want to have their cells hearing each other, Debbie's going to talk about it's a cell signaling supplement. Then they need to keep drinking it. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say as well that when I started this product, my body was not working very well. Of course, I am a little bit older than some of you guys, but my body was not working very well, and now it does. Now my body works like I'm, 15 years younger at least, and why would I give that up? So the person who is sick and takes this product and recovers has a higher quality of life. What they risk by stopping is that they give all that up and go back to being an older, sicker person. I don't understand it. And this gene study helps us demonstrate that for people. 8 weeks, the genes are back off. Not a good idea.
Yep.
David, can I just make a comment for Sylvie?
Absolutely, Carolyn. Thanks.
Sylvie was talking about the NRF2 receptors of the other product that's on the market, and it's another network marketing company. That was the reason I turned down Asea 7 years ago, because I was actually with that company and working closely with them from day one. And so I heard the word NRF2 receptors and I went, I've already got that, don't need it, doesn't do anything different. Here's an example, however. My poor husband sitting to the right of me here was on that product from day one until a couple of months ago, until beginning of July, and it never changed his exercise-induced asthma. And when I looked at that gene expression, and particularly the pathway that shows those 15 stages, and as you said, you see NRF2 in there, that is one little tile out of one gene out of the 5 that they've studied, out of everything else that happens. So it is one minor component that gets influenced by and turned on by Asea, whereas that other product is only dealing with those NRF2 receptors.
And I'm now breathing.
Yeah, and he's breathing now without that.
Well, look, and there it is.
I think they picked these. Yeah, I think they picked these 5 genes because they knew they would cover sort of a big gambit. You remember, you're doing GI, cardio, hormones, immune. You're going all around the body with covering almost every system. Could we turn on thousands of genes? Yeah, probably we are. But these 5 are enough to make the point.
Absolutely. Thank you, Marty. I really appreciate it, Dr. Morin. You jumping on here.
All right, we're gonna start driving. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Say hi to Kathy. Hey, Deb.
Right, bye.
I'm holding up the 2 bottles. This was the commemorative bottle that they had there at the convention, which is pretty cool because it has the new headquarters on. We don't really have time to go in to all the things that we saw there and the launching of the new country.
I need to bring up something important real fast before
Yes.
Karen leaves, if she hasn't left. I had several texts from people, and I've been in meetings all day long about people getting an error message trying to get registered for the convention. Is anybody on this call that got that? Did anybody take it? Okay, Michael, so Healy couldn't get on.
I did.
I know
It
Michael
worked eventually.
Okay, Did anyone take a picture of the error message that they could send to Karen?
Hey, Debbie?
Debbie, I can give you
Yeah.
something on that.
Okay.
I called customer service and said, I need help, guys. It's not
Okay.
working. And the customer service guy got on the convention website, and his first comment was, wow, this is really difficult. At any rate, he finally gave up there and said, I'll call you back. He went on, and he finally got me registered. He called back and said, I don't know how I got you there, but it is done. And I took a picture of the screen and the error message and got it to his supervisor. So we know that at least that far up it went.
So,
Okay, Karen?
And so I'm not.
Thanks, Olin. If you want to just resend that to me, Olin, as well, I'll see if I can track that down. I know that I've been going back and forth with the events department on a number of things with the registration site. So the more screenshots I have, the better. But I think I heard somebody on the call that said, hey, I had some error messages, and then I just kept trying and it went through. And I know that I've been private messaging Pam, who had the same issue. She was getting an error message and she just kept trying it, and it now went through. So look, be patient, just try and keep going through. If you get stuck, call customer service. But the events team should be getting everything updated in the next couple of days. So hopefully we won't have those problems going forward.
But today's the last day to register, so that's why I'm asking. If they've had problems all day and they never got it through.
Would you like another day to register?
Yes.
That'd be great, Karen.
How about
Or at
another
least contact you.
3 days?
Oh, okay, perfect.
So look, I don't quote me on this, but I just sent my red flag up the flagpole. I have a little code here that I sent an email out. It says red alert, red alert, red alert. I have to use it very sparingly, but I have requested that the convention pricing stays as is until this Friday at midnight. I'm crossing my fingers that I get that approved. I don't have it approved right this minute, but I think I'm going to get it approved. So just sit tight. Come to the In Touch call on Wednesday for sure. That's when I'm going to know if it's going to be extended till Friday. But for sure, we're going to have it on a couple more days just because of the problems that people have been experiencing. And cross your fingers till Friday.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Sorry to cut you off, David, but I wanted to catch Karen before she left.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm glad to know. Glad to know. Thanks, you guys.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. We're really.
Hi, it's Barbara. I have to get off right now, but I wanted to say something about what Karen said about what you said about the part-time.
Yeah.
And I think people think that they're confusing with part-time and sometimes. And remember, years ago, I used to say you can do this part-time or full-time, but you can't do it sometimes. So I really think there's a confusion with a lot of people that think that they're doing it part-time, but they're really only doing it sometimes.
Agree. Totally.
So I've been dying to say that, and I really have to get off. But I think people need to think about what they're doing. And part-time is a certain amount of hours, a certain amount of this, a certain amount of calls. Sometimes is if you wake up that morning and say, oh, I'm going to do Asea today. Oh, well, no, I'll do it tomorrow. That's sometimes. So either do it part-time or full-time, but don't do it sometimes. You're not going to go anywhere.
Thanks, Barbara. And coming from a platinum, almost diamond, that means a lot because you know what you're talking about. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I got to go now, but it was a great call.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right, so let's just touch on something before we go because we're really behind. Deb, you want to talk about this, the simple messaging now as far as it says Asea redox and cell signaling supplement, the 3 questions and the 5 areas that it helps?
Absolutely. I mean, I know Asea Corporate has worked and did some advisory stuff on how to really keep this very, very simple because we've been going through years, pioneers, with the arrows in our back of trying to explain redox and how it, it has to, it's reductants and it's oxidants and it turns on antioxidants, and most people are just like, they have no clue what we're talking about, right? And we're trying to explain redox very simply, and their job is to go detect damaged cells and all this kind of stuff. Well, they finally, I mean, they really do want to be branded with Asea being a redox and cell signaling supplement. Redox is a huge buzzword at this point, and it's really become big, and doctors have, you know, really started paying attention to it. And this new bottle is absolutely beautiful with what they've done with it. So now, I mean, so they came up with the 3 simple questions. What is this? What is Asea? Now we can just say it's a cell signaling supplement. People are going to understand what cell signaling is, if they at least know what a cell is. And okay, so what does that do? It turns on genes. And why do I need it? Because cells are always breaking down. So
can you repeat that? So I'll ask the questions. I'll pretend I'm asking. What is it? What is it, Debbie?
Asea is a cell signaling supplement.
And what does it do?
It turns on genes.
Well, why would I need it?
Because cells are always breaking down.
Ah, so what areas of health could it possibly help?
It helps, and it's been studied and proven to help 5 different areas, which can go into many other areas. But it improves immune system health, maintains a healthy inflammatory response, helps maintain cardiovascular health, and I'm reading off the bottle here, as you can see, and support arterial elasticity, improve gut health and digestive enzyme production, and modulate hormone balance to support vitality and wellness.
So
very simply, just say, we're surrounded by stress and toxins. Everybody knows that. That eventually breaks down your cells and causes your genes to basically turn off. And genes are what the cells use. It gives the genes the marching orders. Genes tell the cells what to do. So if they're turned off, your cells don't know what to do. This is all just very simple. So if you take Asea, it turns your genes back on, the cells know what to do, and they can go take care of all these issues that are happening in your body. It's a really simple way to get across the message without explaining redox and what it does and how it's made and all that other kind of stuff.
And there's a, they did a pretty cool demonstration there. I posted a video of it where talking about the 5 different areas of health. And if someone says, well, why do I need it? And you say your cells are always breaking down. And if I was to say, well, what is it like what? They had an interesting way of doing it. And I like this because they're going to say yes to one of them or all of them. So, well, what do I mean? So let me ask you a question, Debbie. Do you either have or do you know anybody that has any type of cardiovascular problem?
Absolutely.
Do you know anybody that has any kind of like inflammation in their body, like joints and things that hurt?
Of course.
As an example. Do you know anybody that has digestive problems?
Of course.
You know anybody that has hormonal problems, either change of life or low libido, something like that?
Hormones, what are you talking about?
There you go. Do you know anybody that has problems with their immunity, either fighting infections or their body attacking itself?
Of course, and tons with autoimmune.
This is a breakthrough, and the study's been done proving why we see the things happen. I mean, if you can get people shaking their head, yes, they start thinking of actual individuals. I shot that 6-minute video, and the 6 reasons, and the second reason people look at it is they love somebody. So when you're saying these things, I mean, we haven't even gotten to the fact that oh, by the way, you have anything that hurts you? Yeah, wow. To me, that's music to my ears if I'm with somebody. It's only music to my ears if I have a tube of gel with me. Otherwise, I'm like, darn it. I feel like Jerry Seinfeld saying Newman, darn it, I don't have my gel with me. So, the whole package is here. The bottom line is it's a cell signaling supplement. And those 3 questions, what is it? What does it do? Why do I need it? And you don't have to get into the complication. The one thing I will tell you is that we're doing webinars. I'm doing 6 of them this week. You can invite people tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, and then Thursday night's the night that everybody on this call should be inviting people to their homes and long distance. I'm doing it this week. It's my turn. I haven't done it in about 12 weeks, I think, or 13 weeks. And Debbie and I
thought I was supposed to be promoting you.
What's that?
I thought I was supposed to be promoting
Oh,
you.
go ahead. Go ahead. Be my guest.
Well, and I'm doing this just because I want to be able to say, you all know how well-spoken David is. And we've been to the convention, as most of you have been, but we're getting the wording down as we go, basically, of course. And it's going to be an all-new Diamond on Call. We're going to go over the simplicity of this and what to say and how to say it. And I think your guest will really get it, as far as, being on this call and listening finally. And people have done a great job, but now it's so simple and so clear. And David is probably the perfect one to start out the new rotation and going through this again. And so please get all of your people and put them in front of, show them a video if you want to. You can show them how redox molecules are made if you want to, or whatever. And have your testimonials, and then let David come in and really explain what this is and how simple the messaging is, and go over these 5 areas and let him kind of lead them down the path of how many different pathways this is going down, in order for this to help literally every single system in your body. And so I put it up. It's on Dream Struggle Victory. Make sure you edify David, as you should any diamond that's coming on, but make sure you're telling him he's a retired, podiatric surgeon. He found network marketing, and he found other products that could really help people in the wellness arena, just like what Marty was just saying, that, now he sees how broken the healthcare industry really is. If you really want to be well, just come and listen. And so make sure that you're talking about, he found other products that really could help people other than drugs and surgery, which is still sometimes necessary, but he found it, and he's been able to help thousands and thousands of people at this point. Very well spoken about this. And so edify him before he comes on, so people want to hear what he has to say. And then you're ready to go. There you go.
Awesome. Thanks. So big week, everybody. Big events coming up. Just mark your calendar in New York on the 14th, Pinehurst on the 14th, Washington, Maryland on the 28th. I'm going to be down in Florida. If you have people, get with your upline, get with me. If you got people in Florida, I'll be speaking in Clearwater on the next Tuesday on the 10th, Sarasota on the 11th, Orlando on the 12th, and we'll do a training, I think, in Melbourne on the 13th, which is Friday. I'm doing a big event, big one. Danielle Matthews has put this together, and Jackie and Harry on the 14th in Melbourne. So we got flyers on all that. I've sent them out. I think Debbie sent them out. The rest of the month is going to be crazy, and Asia is open. I think Carolyn Hoffman just sent me a message that person in Singapore finally watched the video and wants to sign up. You got to get people to watch these videos, do the 3 ways, and don't sit, man. This is the time to run. And we want you to run with us. If you don't, it's fine. You may not be ready, but we're here, and we're going to be with you every step of the way.
And I'm also up in Canada in the Calgary, Red Deer, Bashaw area. If you've got anybody up there, just either text or email me. I am going personally, and we are having some meetings. I just haven't posted them. So please let me know.
We're really behind, and you know what? I don't know, Debbie, that we're going to be able to do the surge call tonight. There was just so much information. So
well, they've all been on.
Yeah. If you all are in the surge, the 90-day surge, forgive us for tonight, but we just had so much information. It went long. We're really appreciative that Karen Reilley popped on. And since we're not having a surge call, does anybody have a question that they want to ask?
Well, remember also that this is October 1st. If you have anyone that wants to jump in, or if anybody wants to jump in, please just get in touch with me or David, and we will be happy to partner you up. If you are having problems and some of your people aren't showing up, please also let me know that so that I can remove them. Because we want people to be serious with this. This has gotten very serious as far as that goes. So it's probably better if you email me or David, either one, but
Okay.
or email both of us.
And Eric has a question.
Yes,
Okay.
I have a question in regards to setting up meetings like Expert in the Night, Expert in the House. I'm also working with Lynn, and she's doing Tuesday nights with her. I know that on the search I'm supposed to do the Expert in the House, and my focus was, because I don't know that many people in the Fresno area since I just moved back, I was thinking of doing a meetup group. Like, are you guys familiar with doing that? Is that effective?
Debbie can speak better than me.
Well, I mean, if you're doing meetup groups, you're going to start building relationships.
Right.
And they'll eventually, ask you what you do, and then you'll be able to come back with your response. And you can invite them eventually onto some of these Diamond on Call nights and stuff like that. And yeah, as long as you're building relationships and getting people, comfortable with you and able to trust you a little bit and stuff like that, they are effective. But you have to give it time sometimes if you're just meeting brand new people. But just remember, wherever you lived before, you can always invite them on one of these Zoom calls. It doesn't matter where they live.
Right.
And they're 7:30 every single, in every single time zone. So they could come on whenever.
Right. I have invited some people from Monterey
Okay.
over there. So what about like on a meetup group scheduling like an RSVP for them to come to an Expert in the House? You don't recommend that? Is that what you're saying? You're saying to build rapport with them first?
Yeah, these are brand new people, right?
Right. These are going to be cold market people that
Right.
might have shared interests in the same field like health and wellness or business. So that's kind of where I'm targeting with the meetup groups. And I was thinking of bringing them in at 7 o'clock, showing them the product, and having them come listen to the Expert in the House and see what they go from there. What do you guys think about that?
You can do that. Like I said, it depends on how you bring it up, for one thing, as far as, if they ask you what you do and you start telling them, that you can get them very excited. But here's what I found. You can get them very excited, but then they go home and they think about it for a little bit, and they're like, I don't even know this guy, and he's telling me all this stuff, and this technology is 10 to 15 years ahead of its time, and all these different things, and they're probably going to fall back and maybe not get on and stuff. So I would personally probably build the relationship for a little bit first. Keep going to the meetup group, keep seeing some of the same people, maybe, I don't know, go out to lunch. It's a little bit slower, but it's cold market. You have to build the relationship first.
Okay.
Let me mention something, because there's a couple other questions. Someone's first of all, let me share my screen. Someone's asking the times of these presentations that I'm doing, and it's all on a document. I'm going to share it in a second, but let's put this up here. Hold on. Sylvie Wilmot just put in the chat box. She's doing one in French. If you know anybody that speaks French, at 2 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday, she's doing it with Dr. Dick Walker. Dr. Walker is a triple diamond. He is an emergency room physician with a master's degree in preventative medicine. That's not impressive. I don't know what it is, but there's one in French. Okay. So that's Wednesday. And I'm going to show you this document has all that on it. Everybody should have seen that, we have a really good infrastructure in place. We call it the Winfrastructure. And because those who plug into it win. This is just page 1, which is kind of an overview. But here, let me shrink this down. Here's what goes on every week. Like every day, there's a charge-up call. Everybody should listen to that live or recorded if you want to get good at doing this business. Here's the call, the weekly call. You're on it right now. This is our team call. Now, these are all for guests, right? There's the big one. Thursday night is in-home night at 4 times, 7:30 in every continental U.S. time zone. I'm going to be there this week for 30 minutes doing this. You just have to get people to your house or get them Zoomed in and then set a time for a follow-up. What else is going on? Well, here, every Tuesday, I mentioned it, 1 p.m. Eastern on this Zoom number, the one you zoomed in here, I do this, right? Every Thursday morning at 9 a.m., I do it, 9 a.m. Eastern, because this is more for Asia, but anybody can tune in if they want. It's 6 in the morning on the West Coast of the U.S., probably not. Here's the French one, right? I mean, it's right there. It's 2 o'clock Eastern every Wednesday. On Saturdays, there's one in Chinese that Evadne Yu, Diamond Under Debbie, does. The first Tuesday of every month, there's a health professional webinar. And there's a recording. They're all recorded. They're there. You can go listen to them now. There's an animal webinar, the third Tuesday of the month. You know, there's this structures in.
There's also one on Thursday at 1 o'clock that I do.
Oh, you're doing one. That's right. You're doing it at 1 o'clock also. I have to add this on here. So Tuesday and Thursday at 1 o'clock Eastern.
Right.
So Danielle Matthews is put together down in Florida the events that I'm going to be doing down there, and she gets it. She's like, you know what? I always promote the next event. If someone says, well, what should I promote? The next event. Because if you invite someone to tomorrow instead of waiting till Thursday, and they happen to get on tomorrow, maybe they don't, but if they do, guess what? They may invite 8 people to come to the one Thursday. While you were just waiting for them, hoping they come Thursday. If you get them on the next one, they get excited, and then they're like, if it hits them, they invite people to the next one. And it's always the next one. You're trying to grow. And for all the events in Florida we were talking about, gosh, get people on the events this week. I'm going to be there all next week. And if they happen to connect with me and say, yeah, that guy's pretty cool, he's not trying to sell anything, then maybe not only are they going to come, they're going to bring people with them to the events. And that's the idea. Okay, all right, it's late. I'm going to watch the Redskin game. I'm going to unmute everybody. I recorded this.